Greetings and konnichiwa, and welcome to the Onyx Tavern. I'm your host, Rick the Barkeep, bringing you episode 195 here at the Tavern, presented by HeroTaku.com. So it would seem that someone at Toei actually watches my videos. And I say that because several episodes ago, I did suggest that we need to go back into space for both Power Rangers and Super Sentai. And lo and behold, here we are, Uchu Sentai Kyuranger, the first official space Sentai, and most likely the next adaptation of Power Rangers after Ninja Steel, but I'll get into that here in a little bit. So yeah, guys, here's the thing. I'm feeling kind of optimistic about this series. There are a number of things I'm looking at that I like, a couple of things I'm a little wary about, and maybe one or two things at most that I just don't like. So I feel very positive about this, and I think this is going to be a very positive episode for you guys today. So, hopefully not a lot of that negativity that we've gotten with other reveals, because, frankly, going back, it's been a while, I would say, before. I mean, it's been a while since I've actually seen previews for a Sentai that I was legitimately excited about. Guys, when ToQger came out, I didn't like the suits. I kind of bashed them for that, but I was really excited about the train theme, but I just wasn't overall excited based on the aesthetic and things that we were seeing. I wasn't that excited based on what we saw on Ninja, not as much as, I probably should have been, and I didn't really enjoy Ninja as much as I'd hoped I would going into it. And Zuo, sure, I would think I was kind of about it. I really wasn't all that excited. But Kyuranger, based on what we have, which is just the aesthetics, is just the faces of the characters, the Zords, the weapons, the toys, I am really excited about this. So, guys, I'm going to go into this as positive as I can. I'll tell you all the things I like about the things I think they're doing right, but I am going to go ahead and point out the negatives for it. And since the series is less than a month away, what I'm going to do is just kind of tell you guys how I predict they're going to do certain things, based on the trends that we have, and again, what information has been revealed. In some cases, I hope I'm wrong, because I want it to be better than I fear it's going to go ahead and be. So, we're going to be all over the map today. There's a lot of things we're going to go ahead and cover. So, we're going to go ahead and start beginning, and I'm just going to go ahead and talk about the 9 Rangers themselves. Now, the odd thing is that we know it's called Kyuranger. We know Q means 9 in Japanese. And we kind of figured there are going to be 9 Rangers as we eventually get through the series. But in no way did I actually think they were going to reveal all 9 Rangers to begin with. I mean, that's unprecedented. I mean, you would think they would show maybe the first 3 Rangers, because the rumors up to this point would be that you'd start with the 3 main Rangers, red, blue, and yellow, and then you would get the other Rangers coming in pairs of 2 until all 9 of them were revealed, and we'd probably get all 9 Rangers by the third quarter toy catalog, and that's how we would go ahead and have them revealed to us. But no, out the gate, they have 9 Rangers. And frankly, guys, they look good. I really enjoy a lot of designs that they have here. And I want to kind of go one by one and tell you what I think of them. But I also want to talk about them as a group. In general, I do like the designs that they have. I like the big star on their helmet. I like the silver accents they have. Because what it actually looks like is it looks a little busy when you first look at it. But it also seems a little practical, because I got the spandex, but the chest piece, the shoulder pads, and again, all the other silver accents definitely seem like they're added on addition to the suit. In that they may have some sort of function to them. Instead of just being sleek and simple, this is like add-on armor. This is like power-up armor. This is like the Lights of Orion or the SWAT armor. Things are added on in addition to it, but this is the default mode. So what this might tell us is this could be something of an upgrade in the lineage of whatever Kyuranger is. Because right now, I don't know if Kyuranger is supposed to be like a modern thing. They just created this, something that's been around for decades or centuries. We don't know. But the suits definitely look like that they have gone through some sort of progression, upgrade, and change. And that might be something that we deal with in the series, where maybe the first time we see the Red Ranger, he's just got the basic spandex, and then we give him this additional armor, and he's ready to go ahead and go. I would prefer a team-based power-up, but the fact that they all seem to go ahead and have this, is pretty cool. I mean, I don't know how else to really describe it to you guys. I just kind of like it. I love that it's a silver accent. Not gold, not black, not white, but silver. I think it looks really good on the costume. I also like the fact that each ranger has his or her own symbol. If you actually look into the star in the little circular pad, they have like a stone or a gem with their particular symbol, and I really like that. I think that's really cool. I love teams that have that type of uniformity where they all have the same design, but they all have their individual symbol. Again, good examples of this are like Mighty Morphin Zoo Ranger, where they're all the same, but they have their own different coin, and that is their symbol. I mean, opposed to the SPD, where it's like their symbol is a number. It is their own individual, unique icon. I like that we have a wrist-mounted morpher. It seems a little bulky at the moment. I've seen images of the toy and whatnot. And looking here, it kind of looks all right. Although the problem is that it is red and black, and it's not set to the Ranger's individual color. I would kind of prefer that the Morpher is a standardized color, like a silver or something, or a black, where it kind of blends in with all the other outfits. Because it is kind of odd to look at the Green Ranger, and here she has a red, big old red Morpher on the side. And I know we've gotten that with other series before, but I just thought they would do a better job at kind of blending this in. Um, as far as the other individual rangers, here's a curious thing that I'll notice. Now, the image that you're seeing is probably the best image we've had of all of them together, maybe showing their personality traits or the different things that are unique about them. Look at the Red Ranger in comparison to the Gold Ranger. For some reason, this Gold Ranger reminds me of the Gold Ranger from Shinkenger, from Samurai. I don't know why. There's just something about it. I know the designs are completely different. The only thing they have in common is that they're gold. But when I look at it, just kind of like I have this image in my head. But notice how the Gold Ranger looks like he is more heavily armored than our Red Ranger. This could fit into my theory, what I just point out to you guys about upgrades, armors, and the lineage. That maybe the Gold Ranger is an older Ranger, has older style armor, or has upgraded or changed, or the Red Ranger is new and he doesn't have all those upgrades yet. And we can see this on a couple of the others. Specifically, it's gold and black and maybe blue. I don't really have the best image of blue at the moment. But it does seem like a couple of the Rangers do have, more armor than the others. And for some reason, and I think it's kind of a good thing and a bad thing, but the Black Ranger seems to be the brute of the group and has the heaviest armor, also seems to be the tallest. I mean, I think he's the fan favorite right now in terms of design. I certainly like his design, the symmetrical look. I do like the heavy armor that's on him. Um, he is just cool. I don't know what to go ahead and say about it, but I am curious why two of the Rangers seem to be more heavily armored than the other Rangers, and that's something I'm hoping the series will go ahead and reveal. Now, something I'm also not really keen on right now is you'll notice that the Pink Ranger and the Orange Ranger have different designs as well. Specifically, the Pink Ranger has a pair of wings, and the Orange Ranger has a scorpion tail. Now, the thing is, I like each of the Rangers having unique powers and different power sets from the others. I mean, you have your uniform powers, but like say in Dino Thunder, our Red Ranger has the super speed. Our Yellow Ranger can scream really loud. I like having those types of things. Not so much as civilian powers, but something they could use morphed. I just don't like the idea of them having these extra accessories morphed that the other Rangers don't really have access to. I know that's a little contradictory in itself. There's just something that kind of bugs me about it, and I think what it comes down to is the fact that I don't think it's going to be as functional as we expect it to be. Here's what I mean. So we have 9 Rangers, and we have one, the Pink Ranger, who has wings. I'm going to assume that those wings are functional, and she can go ahead and fly. But are we going to really see her exclusively fly in the series? That she's going to be the only one that has the power of flight? Because, first of all, they're in space. And I'm going to assume they have some sort of space vehicle that eventually they're going to reveal motorcycles or hoverboards or jet skis or something that allows them to travel great distances, hovering, flying, whatever. And if that's the case, then that really kind of makes the Pink Ranger's wings a moot point. What's the point of her having wings that allow her to fly if the other Rangers could easily fly? I mean, you guys remember jetting from Mighty Morphin? It's like, what was the point of jetting? Well, I have that when you have teleportation or vice versa. And are these Rangers going to have teleportation too? Because, again, that's going to be a big factor in whether those wings are a good idea or a bad idea. It's just what I see is that either A, she's going to be the only one that can fly and she uses it sparingly and not logically when you need to, or B, everybody's going to have some ability or some ability to travel by flying, where again the purpose of her having wings is not going to be relevant whatsoever. And also remember, Rangers can jump really high. We're talking about hundreds of feet. So is there going to be an episode where she can only reach something because she can fly, but then in the next scene we see them jumping into their starships up in orbit? That kind of thing. And the same thing goes with the Orange Ranger. I don't mind him having a scorpion stinger since he is a scorpion, and we'll get into the themes here too. But how functional is it going to go ahead and be? I mean, is he going to be on a 2-on-1 battle where he is fighting one person up front and his stinger is stinging the guy behind him or something? Because here's what I'm thinking is we're going to see a thing where he maybe gets captured or something. Somebody's holding two of his arms, the classic got both arms and gun to your head kind of thing. And he can't get out. He's got the sadistic choice that the other heroes have to make and stuff. And then they forget, oh yeah, he has a scorpion stinger that he could use to full effect here, which Scorpina definitely used when she was in her monster form. So again, the question here is how functional is that going to be? Is it going to be something that's just, occasionally he pulls out, or is it something that is always there, is always present, and he's always using in some fashion? Something else that kind of bothers me about this is the take a look at the Blue Ranger. You really can't see it in this image, but it's been around some of the other images that we've seen. But he has fur on his costume. Yeah, the Blue Ranger's fur is on his costume. Now, two things. One, I'm very curious to see how the cosplay community handles this. How it's integrated into a spandex armored suit, as we have it now. But two, what's the purpose of it? Because again, there's a purpose to having wings, there's a purpose to having a scorpion stinger, but what's the purpose of having fur on your costume? I mean, obviously it's an aesthetic choice by the creators of the show, but does it help him in battle? Is it, does it have magical properties or something? The character supposedly is a wolf alien, and we'll get to that in a second here. But why does having the fur on your costume? What does that accomplish? What does that do? Because again, I'm just thinking about functionality. Because if you're a wolf-based superhero and you're an individual, I can get why you have a wolf, motif. You have the fur. That kind of makes sense to me. But when you're on a team of Rangers, it's kind of like saying, look at the Mighty Morphin. The Red Ranger has, Tyrannosaurus scales, and the Black Ranger has woolly mammoth fur. But why? What's the functionality? I mean, I can understand if it was scales, it makes them stronger, it protects them from damage. But I don't necessarily see fur as being an advantage unless he goes to a cold climate. I don't get it. I think that's ultimately this. I just don't get it. I think in terms of design, my least favorite is probably the Yellow Ranger because he's just so plain, just so boring. Nothing particularly unique about it. But I am glad we got another male Yellow Ranger here because, as you guys recall, the whole what to do about Kyuranger was the idea that we didn't have a female Yellow Ranger, and there was that statement that our male audience associates yellow with the female characters. But in the last several years, we've had, this is what, the third male Yellow Ranger that we've had in a row. I like it. I think it's a good idea. Mix up the colors a bit. That's why we had the first female Green Ranger, which is great. But I do find that a little derivative here because she's green and she's a chameleon. Now, where have we seen that before, guys? Yeah, Melee from Geki Ranger. Why do we need a female chameleon ranger? Because, and here's the thing. each of the Rangers is based off a different constellation. As I've been reading, there are 88 modern constellations. That would be the key term here. And each one's based off one of those particular constellations, which means I hope we have a Bear Ranger later. I would love to see a cool Bear Ranger. I don't know if we're going to get more than 9. We got enough. But man, a Bear Ranger, or at least a Bear Zord based on Ursa Major would be great. But again, why do we have a Chameleon Ranger? Again, we already had Melee. Couldn't we give her a different one to be based on? And that brings me to another thing here is that all of these guys are animals with the exception of our Gold Ranger, who is a Libra, the scales, if I'm not mistaken there. Or the balance, the scales, however you want to go ahead and look at it. Why is everybody else based on animal constellation, but not our Gold Ranger? And I'll let you guys know what they are. Pink Ranger is an eagle, Silver Ranger is a cobra, Orange Ranger is a scorpion, Blue Ranger is a wolf, Black Ranger is Taurus the bull, Green Ranger is a chameleon, and Yellow Ranger is a swordfish. And I kind of like the idea that they did make him a swordfish because that is kind of unique, but his costume is just kind of rather bland. But again, why was the Gold Ranger made into, again, an inanimate object and not an animal like the others? At least it's got a theme, it's in constellations, but again, could have made the Gold Ranger the Bear Ranger. That would be pretty cool. I also like the Silver Ranger costume, but I don't know why the Silver Ranger's uh, helmet is so asymmetrical, because it just kind of bugs me in some of these guys, because the thing about the Gold Ranger is his is completely balanced, symmetrical, and looks great. So is the Black Ranger, so is the Green Ranger, but the Red Ranger and the Pink Ranger and the Silver Ranger, I mean, it's just so lopsided. It's just a little, it throws me off. Maybe I think sometimes I have OCD or one of those little compulsion things, and it's like, I want it to be balanced. I want it to be equal, and just kind of throws me off. But that's a personal thing. Something else that's really great is if you actually notice in a lot of the promotional images and you look closely, the Rangers' helmets have stars in their visors. That is freaking awesome. This would be like the one reason I would want to buy a Kyuranger helmet from Anarchy, is to see if he can replicate that star thing. Because you can clearly see it in this image on the Red Ranger and the Black Ranger, but the others do have it in their close-up. So that's freaking awesome. I'm really excited about that. One other thing, by just looking at the Rangers aesthetically speaking, is that, okay, here we go with this again. And I say again because it happens every year. We have 9 Power Rangers, Sentai Rangers, whatever. We have 9 Rangers this season. How many of them are female? 2. We have 2 female Rangers out of 9. Why? I mean, can we get more girls in this? I mean, seriously. I mean, I'm not trying to make a joke or anything about it, but can we just get more girls out of this? I just don't understand why that's such a big deal. I mean, we have the Green Ranger and Pink Ranger. Why not make the Silver Ranger a girl? Make the Black Ranger a girl, Blue Ranger a girl, or Yellow Ranger, or heaven forbid, let's make the Red Ranger a girl. I don't understand why every year we have to have so few female rangers in comparison to male rangers, because again, you get 1 or 2 every year. Well, why can't we just, I mean, we have 9 rangers, let's make 5 of them male and 4 of them female. I mean, that would be so easy to do. Again, to turn silver and turn yellow into a female, and there you go. Is it going to change the story? I doubt it. And we'll talk about what we know of the characters so far, but it's just so bothersome to know that we only have 2 girls in the show. And here's something I want to kind of go into. This is something that's going to bother me, and I want to talk about the characters and what we know of them based on what's released. Now, I'll give a link to the Ranger Board article here. And Ranger Boards collect a lot of information. It's updated every time something new is coming in. But basically, what we have for the team coming up and what we know of is, of the 9 Rangers, 5 of them are going to be actual actors or actresses playing the roles, while 4 of them are going to go ahead and be actors in rubber suits. And you guys already know my feelings on this and how I don't prefer that. But here's what I'm looking at. the Red Ranger, the Green Ranger, the Yellow Ranger, the Orange Ranger, and the Silver Ranger. So silver, orange, red, green, and yellow are all going to be played by regular actors and actresses. Where the pink, gold, blue, and black Rangers are going to be played by somebody in a costume in a big rubber suit. Now, what does that ultimately mean? Well, first of all, we have our five main Rangers. That's probably going to be our default team, is the five main, face characters, as I called it. And in those five, we have one girl, the Green Ranger. So we're going to spend probably about 80-90% of our time throughout the series with these five face characters, because they're probably getting paid more for it. And we're only going to have one girl through the majority of it. Further, we have the four costume characters who, frankly, I don't think we're going to see much of throughout the series. Because go back to Go Buster and Beat J Stag, he was a robot, he was a buddy roid, but we never really focused on him as a character. It was more focused on our three main characters, the red, the blue, and the yellow. We did get some focus on our Gold Ranger, but he was the older, more of the mentor-like character, so we didn't get as many interesting stories or things about him as we did to our three main characters. So what I'm saying is, it seems that the series is going to focus on our five face characters, less on our four costume characters, meaning that we're only going to have one female ranger that we're going to spend most of our time following as an actual person, as an actual actress. Because what I'm feeling, this is just a hunch, our black ranger, who is a bull, we're not going to get much development on his character because he's the brute. He's the big strong guy and stuff like that. He's just going to be there for the muscle. He might have an impulsive personality, but he's not going to go through any type of character change, and there's probably not going to be very many interesting stories revolving around him because there are probably going to be about 50 episodes. How many of them are going to focus on our bull ranger whose lips don't even move? That's the thing I worry about. That's something that I'm a little concerned for, a little confused about in what they're going to go ahead and do. Because I wanted to focus on all 9 characters. And guys, remember, when I talk about Kyuranger, or not Kyuranger, Kyulger, and Power Rangers Dino Charge, I told you guys my favorite characters were the extra Rangers. I thought that they were more interesting. I liked Prince Philip. I liked Albert. Even Dr. Morgan to an extent. I wanted to know more about Tyler's father. I wanted to know about these guys because I thought they were more interesting. Heck, even Xenowing, when he came in late into the series, I wanted to know more about him more than I wanted to know about what Riley was doing or what Ivan was up to. And I just kind of feel that the more interesting characters, the ones I want to know more about, are going to be these costumed alien characters as opposed to our typical human characters. And I want to kind of go down what we know about the characters. And again, this is all based off what Ranger Board is reporting. So this could be, off, or this could change with further information. But again, this is what they're going off of. So our Red Ranger, and guys, they all have different names, but I'm just going to call them by color for the minute, just because that's going to be a little bit easier on me. But our Red Ranger, whose name is Lucky, he is a warrior born under the Leo constellation. He has an extreme level of good luck and is good in a pinch. Doesn't really tell us much about him, but I like the fact that his name is Lucky, so it's going to be a little bit easier to remember his name as opposed to other characters. And of course, his animal is the lion, the constellation of Leo. But I have to ask, guys, seriously, why so many Red Rangers with the lion motif? Why do we? It seems like every time there's an animal out there, it has to be a lion in there somewhere, and mostly it's going to go ahead and be the Red Ranger. I mean, we've had other lions. We've had, Go-Onger, we had the Blue Lion and Die Ranger, we had the Green Lion, we had Gosei Knight that's based off of a lion. But why do we always have to have lions? Can we mix up the animals a little bit here? I know eventually you have to do a Leo constellation and whatnot, but seriously, why is the Red Ranger a lion again? Make the Red Ranger the swordfish. Make the Red Ranger the chameleon. Make the Red Ranger the bull. Give us something different than just a lion over and over and over again. I mean, again, mix it up. Because I at least appreciate that they made the Yellow Ranger a lion in Zoolger. But again, we already had a yellow lion in Hurricaneger. They just seem to have a thing that they're comfortable with, Red Lion Rangers. That's something that they're comfortable with. I'm also going to point out I'm not going to comment about the actors or actresses other than maybe their appearance because I have no idea who any of these people are. I have no idea what they've acted in, and even if I did, I haven't seen it. So, again, nothing on the actors or actresses themselves. Okay, our Orange Ranger, his name is Stinger, so that's going to be easy to remember. And all it says is he's a warrior that has a poison tail, uses her fighting techniques. Again, let's see how often he actually uses that in the series. Our Blue Ranger, Garu, who is a wolf, he is a beast man warrior who specializes in fighting wild opponents. Well, that tells us nothing about him other than he's a beast man. I'm assuming he's going to be an alien of some sort because we're in space, but again, wish we had more info to go off on him. Our Gold Ranger is, and this is directly from Ranger Board, essentially a technopath, and he is a mechanical life form. That's all we got. He's based off, or his name is Balance, and he is the Libra. And again, that'll be easy to remember. But again, what are we going to do with him? Is he going to be the Data of the series? Is he going to be cold and logical? Is there going to be a thing where he has to learn the lesson about organic life and that freedom is the right of all sentient beings? I mean, I want to know what he's going to learn. You made him a mechanical life form. There's so many possibilities with that, many of which have already been done. But are you going to take this in a new direction, or is this going to be the same old that we've always had? That's what I'm curious about. Champ is our Black Ranger based on the bull. I kind of like that name. That's fine. He's also a robot with amazing physical power. I thought he was an alien, guys. I read this before. I swear I thought he was an alien. But we have another robot. So we have two robots on the team already. And again, all we know is he's great with his strength. That's about it. Uh, Rei Naga, which is the Silver Ranger, based off the snake. He is an alien that can stop people from moving. And he fights in tandem with the Gold Ranger. So they're partners. Our Silver Ranger is a person. Now, whether or not he's going to be like in makeup or any. Because here's what I hate about Sentai. Sentai's a little lazy with their aliens because they will say that you're an alien, but you're completely human. You know, at least in the 66 Star Trek, they put makeup on the guys to make the Klingons look a little bit different than humans. And of course, gave them ridges later. I just hope there's something about him, even if it's like gills or horns or big ears or something. I mean, I would like to think they could at least make him look good because, you know, again, back to Star Trek, you know, they had great alien designs and makeup and stuff. Let's at least try to get that with this guy. I mean, he just looks like your generic Japanese actor, so let's add something to him, make him a little bit more distinct and unique. But again, there's nothing really about his character, and that's disappointing. Hami, who is the Green Ranger, she is a ninja with a plethora of ninja techniques. So again, I don't know why we have another ninja, you know, 2 years after we had the whole ninja thing in Ninja. But again, she can be a real ninja or a space ninja. And it says here, seems to be an alien as she can change her color to hide her body. So she could be an alien, and I hope she is. Now, it says she seems to be an alien, so maybe she does appear human. She has a human form and identity, which works for Zoolger, but I'm not so sure it's going to go ahead and work here, but we'll see. Let's see. Uh, the Pink Ranger, now it looks like they updated her name because originally when I read this, her name was Raptor 283, which kind of makes sense because she's based off the eagle. But it seems here that the Romanized form, or the English form, is Laputa, I guess. And all it says a warrior adept at flying and speed. She is an eagle-typed android. So now we have an android, a mechanical being, and a robot. Again, so you have the Pink Ranger and Gold Ranger as robots along with the Black Ranger. What are you going to go ahead and do with that? The only interesting thing I can see is they turn against the team because they feel that non-organic life form is maybe superior, and we could have, you know, war within the Rangers. There's a rift between them. That's just spitballing here, but I don't think they do anything that interesting. And the last one is, I don't know if it's Spada or Spada, but he is the Yellow Ranger Swordfish, a chef who is better than anyone at cooking, excels in blade attacks. So we know that he's a cook. That tells me he's going to be the joke character of the group, that he's going to be the doofus, the goofy one. which I hate. You always have to have that, but it seems to be more common than not that it's the Yellow Rangers that fill that role with males. I mean, again, look at Leo from Zoozor. He seems to follow that as well. So that's what we got for the Rangers. Those are all the comments I have regarding them. I'm going to go on to the next aspect here is this year's collectible device. Now, the name of the collectible device, let me see what it's called. Let's see. I'm sorry, guys. I'm looking for it here. I can't find the name of it. I'm looking in the wrong place, obviously. But basically, it's a sphere with each of their unique designs in them, and I like that. But here's where I'm going to have another problem: is once again we have another gotta catch 'em all collectible device. Now, supposedly, in terms of the Zords and the Mecha, they're supposed to be the cockpit, so you kind of collect them. That means you kind of collect the cockpit for it. Here it is, Q-Tama. That's what it's called. It's Q-Tama. So the Q-Tamas are going to be that collectible pieces, and they seem to be numbered as high as number 26 because they all seem to have number associated with them. But here are a couple of things. First of all, as stated before, they are all based off of constellations. There are 88 modern constellations, so what that tells me is that there are going to be 88 of these suckers to go ahead and collect. And what I'm hoping is that they're not going to be hard to collect. And what I mean is, the thing with Ranger keys, most of all, was that Ranger keys didn't come all together in packs. You had to buy them separately, buy this to get that, buy a t-shirt, buy underwear, buy this toy, buy that toy, send in for this, to try and get them all. I hope that's not what they're doing here with the Q-Tamas. I hope that what they'll say is, all right, here is the first 9 will come with the Zords, and then numbers 10 through 15 are going to be in a blister pack that you can go ahead and buy so you can have all of them, and they're going to be released in sets. Because I really hate having to go out and buy this just to get that one little thing, and you waste your money because you don't want the other thing. You just want the little damn sphere with the colored light in it. And I hope that the collectible gotta catch 'em all thing is something that we're not going to have to do with this series, that they'll be easier to collect, and we're not going to have Japanese exclusives so people can easily buy them in the United States, and it'll just be simple. Just make it simple, guys. That's all it is. We don't like spending our money to scalpers. We don't like to go hunting at 15 different stores or 12 different websites just to find one that's at the actual retail price. So hopefully that's not going to be an issue, but we'll see where that goes. Now, the Zords are also interesting for a couple of reasons. Now, as I said, one of the things I wanted to see with the Zords in any given season is I like to see that they are modular, that you can switch out like just about any Zord for the left arm or the right arm and change around and make so many different combinations. What I also said I wanted to specifically see from a Space Sentai is starship-based Zords that could come together and make a Megazord or make one giant starship. Not unlike what you guys have for Time Ranger in their, the Time Force Megazord. How it was 5 different jets that came together to make one jet itself, but this on a different scale with many more pieces. Now, we got the modular aspect, but we didn't get the starship thing. The Zords this season, which are called Voyagers, which is awesome. I love that. Even though Voyager wasn't the best Star Trek series, I love that they're called Voyagers. They are modular. Now, the idea is that, each one can become a different arm and different leg. The chameleon can be the right arm, but it can also be the left leg if you need it to be. The swordfish can be the left arm, or it can go ahead and be the left leg. You can go ahead and change around, and that's great. Except for the fact that, once again, we have favoritism towards our Red Ranger. All the other Zords are modular, except for the Red Ranger Zord. So if you look at the blue, black, green, yellow, orange, gold, silver, and pink Ranger Zords, They are all modular animals, or in the case of Gold and Silver, robot forms that form different arms and different legs for the Megazords and have different combinations. And of course, you got different combinations based on that. Whereas, say, the Silver Ranger makes a shield, whereas the Pink Ranger Zord kind of makes like a little a sword kind of thing on the arm. But what is consistent through all of these is that the Red Ranger Zord is the base core. That is the torso. That every other Zord is an arm and a leg. Doesn't matter what combination you put in, but the Red Ranger Zord is always the center Zord. Why do we have to do this, guys? Why do we have to do this with the Red Ranger every year? You know, it's because it's self-fulfilling prophecy. They say we make the Red Ranger toys better and more interesting because kids love collecting the Red Ranger, but you only make them available as Red Rangers, so there's nothing else to really collect at that point. Again, it kind of goes back and forth. So once again, we have a Red Ranger who has a unique mecha that's completely different from the others, and no matter what combination is made, the Red Ranger has to be at the middle. Now, the toy scans that we have do not indicate that you can make another combination by just using the other Ranger Zords. That only the Red Ranger Zord, or the Red Ranger Zord, is necessary to form a Megazord. So it can't be that the pink, gold, silver, orange, and yellow Rangers, they can bring their Zords together and make a unique Megazord. No, you can't do that. You have to have the Red Ranger, and you have to have 4 of the other Ranger Zords, and that's it. I imagine where they're going with this as we progress into the series is that they're going to introduce new Zords who don't belong to any particular Ranger. They're going to be auxiliary mecha of some kind, and that's how we're going to get them to combine with the other Ranger Zords. So what we'll probably see is we got the 9 main Zords, but then we'll have 3 or 4 of the core Zords similar to the Red Ranger, and then we'll have all these other auxiliary mecha. Again, 88 constellations to go off of. I doubt they'll do all 88 with the Zords because, again, you named a series before 100 Beast Gal Ranger, but you didn't come out with 100 toys, which, again, I kind of still wish they would. So we're only going to get a limited number here, and I'm really betting that we are going to get a bear as the main mecha core for Ursa Major for that Zord. And again, what I kind of hope is that for each Zord, they will release these little spheres that come with them. But it's already evident by a couple of the other toys that you have to buy all the toys to get all the spheres. And again, that just frustrates me to no end. Okay, so let's see. That seems to be all the things to really talk about. I mean, there are the other toys and stuff, but I really don't have much to say because they're toys, and I only really collect the Zords anyway, so I don't have much of opinion there. There is one other piece of information that I want to go ahead and cover before I end out today's video. Now, that's the idea is that we got an interview, I believe it's from Pink Spandex, that basically said that Toei contacted Bandai of America and asked for input in the development of Kyuranger. And people are so excited about this. Oh, they contact Bandai. They want to know what the American audience wants. That's so cool. That's so awesome. But guys, it's not. It's not awesome at all. Because here's 2 things that bothers me. First, they didn't contact the right people. Toei contacted Bandai of America. They contacted the toy manufacturer. They didn't contact Saban. They didn't contact Chip Lin. They didn't contact the production staff. They didn't contact any of the writers. They contacted the toy company. So that tells me that when they think of their show being adapted in the Power Rangers, they're simply thinking about the toys. They're not thinking about story. They're not thinking about character. They're not thinking about maybe let's come up with a couple things that'll be easier to translate when they do adaptation in a couple of years. No, that's not what they're thinking whatsoever. What they're thinking is, what kind of toys can we make? Let's ask the Americans what toys they like. And the second problem I have with this is, it's not going to matter. I don't know what input, if any, they really had here. I mean, you can go listen to the interview, but, I tuned out most of it simply because they weren't really asking or answering the questions that I really had about this, but there seems to be slight input in the design of the Ranger costumes. But here's why it doesn't ultimately matter. they're not going to import the toys to America. Because here's what's going to happen. They're going to adapt, Kyuranger into Power Rangers Black Hole Force or whatever. That will be the next space-themed Power Ranger season. And they're going to take a look at the Shishi Voyager, which is the Red Ranger Zord. Like, this is a cool toy and it's sold well in Japan. Now, let's bring it to America, make the mold smaller, take out all the die-cast metal, and take out the lights and effects, and let's use cheaper quality plastic. And that's what we're going to go ahead and sell. So even if Bandai of America had positive input in the actual design of these toys, and like this is what American audiences would like to see in their toys, they're not bringing those toys over. I've said a million times and nobody seems to want to listen. We don't want you to make weaker versions of the toys or an inferior product. We want a one-for-one translation of the toys, if you will. And just take the Shishio, take what you have, bring it over, and just put it in American packaging. You don't need to do anything else. And that's the weird thing, guys, is they do more work for themselves than just importing the damn thing. But I digress there. So, guys, I'm not excited about Bandai of America working with Toei to develop Kyuranger because it means nothing in the long run. They didn't ask the right people for the right outcome, and we're not going to see those toys anyway. We're going to have to order them over the internet, pay extreme amounts of money to go ahead and get them, and it ultimately means nothing. So, that's my 2 cents. Take it how you want, but those of you listening long enough now, you should already know my opinions on that. The last thing I'm going to go ahead and say is kind of a comment that everybody's been making in regards to Kyuranger coming over the Power Rangers. Because, yes, we've had that conversation. As soon as people found out about Kyuranger Solid Designs, they started about adapting over in the Power Rangers. Now, here's the thing. We're about to head into Ninja Steel this month, and the next season will be Ninja Super Steel. And that will be officially the 25th season of Power Rangers. And, of course, whatever comes after will be the 26th season. It seems like a foregone conclusion given the way that they are skipping Sentai the Way, Skip Go Buster, and ToQger for Power Rangers. Some people are pretty much saying that because Kyuranger looks good, there are more Rangers, and it's based on animals and starships, that we're going to ultimately pass over Zyuohger in favor of doing a Kyuranger adaptation. I don't like skipping Sentais. I don't think it's a good practice. I like the idea we can catch up to what they're doing, but I wish we'd go back to the old practice of one season a year and we follow the year immediately after the Sentai has aired. That's the kind of thing that I always liked. I don't like the way that we're doing it now with the Neo Saban era. I certainly think that needs to go ahead and change. But I do agree that if Saban was given the option between skipping Zyuohger and given the option of adapting Zyuohger or Kyuranger, they would probably go for Kyuranger because there is more characters, more things to go ahead and sell. And honestly, guys, that Minecraft craze that you thought that it was based off on, which I don't fully believe, that's kind of dying down here in the United States. I mean, I got a couple of students that I know of that love Minecraft in Japan, but kids here in America just they're not in the Minecraft in the same way. So I don't think you can sell Power Rangers on like Minecraft. I don't think that's something that can be done here. So frankly, if you leave it to the powers to be to see which can go ahead and make more money, yeah, I think they're going to skip Zyuohger to go to Kyuranger. But that's still ways off. I don't really see us needing to discuss at this point, but since so many people brought it up, I thought I'd throw my 2 cents in there. I'd love to see a Zyuohger adaptation. I'd like to see what they do with it. If they, try to tie it into something like Wild Force, if they make its own unique thing, how do they handle the zoom-in thing? But I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it's something that we're probably going to be getting because there is so much enthusiasm at Kyuranger that once the 2 years of Ninja adaptation is over, that they'll say, hey, let's just go ahead and let's do the Kyuranger. Let's get that thing nobody wants. A block whale Zord is the best I can go ahead and think. So, guys, I know I took a lot of your time. I was all over the map and stuff, and I apologize because I'm still trying to get back into these videos. And just to clarify for those of you asking, no, I didn't lose my passion for doing these. It's more of a time management thing. That's why you haven't seen a lot of videos, and I was lucky to get this one out in the time that I have. Nevertheless, guys, what are your thoughts on Kyuranger as it stands, based on what we know of the characters, the suit designs, the Zords, the collectibles, even what are your thoughts about Bandai being involved with the development through Toei? What do you guys think about that? I seriously like to let you know, or let you guys let me know. And who is your favorite character based on suit design? Again, I think mine's probably the Black or Silver Ranger. But hopefully, I fall in love with one of the other characters in the series, because that's what it should be. It should be about character, not about design. So hopefully, I like the Black Ranger as a character. But heck, if the Wolf is my favorite character, then I like the Wolf. All right, guys. So thank you guys again for listening. Have a good evening. And the tavern is now closed.